coming. Once again, we appreciate it. We're here for the second Vision Action workshop for the City of Plummer pole yard. Of course, we're here because the pole yard was a Brownfield area that was being cleaned up. We really want to thank you all for all your ideas, your visions, concepts, and your time giving that to us. We'd like to improve that area so it's a place where the whole entire community can use that. It's going to be a long process. We definitely are very thankful for your input.
Many brownfield sites happen to be in underserved communities because those were the communities that couldn't stand up for themselves when big industrial sites were being developed, and the underserved communities end up with a disproportionate number of industrial sites and landfills. Anytime we're using federal funds, we want to make sure that it's what the community wants. We don't want to do something with taxpayer funding that the community doesn't support. So activities like this Vision to Action workshop really help get the community engaged.
I think it's really important to bring the community in early, specifically Indigenous people and also just people of color. Under marginalized communities are kind of thought as an afterthought or kind of just used as the diversity checkbox.
The EPA, they really want to see, to the fullest extent possible, empowerment in the community for people to basically become the authors of their community's future. And so a vision action process like what we underwent here in Plummer is a great way to show how that can happen.
The pole yard site separates a lot of housing, which is to the east of that site. You have the highway that runs next to it, Highway 95. It has former railroad tracks that go through there. It is a large area which has a lot of possibilities. Between the city and the tribe, we've been looking at finding ways to make improvements, sidewalks, beautification, kind of connecting the west side of our town.
Getting more trees, getting a sidewalk for all of the kids who walk to school there, just making it a more pleasant place to be in, as well as hopefully creating some resources for the tribe. This act of the community visioning for the pole yard can be a really good example of what we can do as a tribe, as a community, with such a large amount of people and resources to kind of fight those challenges that we've been faced on that land.
So the site has already been assessed and cleaned up by EPA. And so now the funding we're doing is to figure out what is the best path forward, get community buy-in with the reuse options, and then figure out how to fund it for you. So that will be the next step.
You walk out onto this anywhere, from Plummer to DeSmet. Our Aboriginal territory went to Montana, went as far over past Spokane. Everywhere you walk was our territory. It doesn't matter where you are. It was ours. Our people used and lived here.
When we first moved down here, we were given 160 acres per tribal member. And the Coeur d'Alene tribal people were not able to cover all that land. And so the government, in their wisdom, decided that they would sell off them parcels to non-Indians. And so our whole reservation is checkerboarded. I lived at the end of the street where I could see the pole yard because the brush and the trees were not there. I could see the mill, and my kids roamed down there all over that place. Did I know it was contaminated? No, nobody told me. Think I would let my kids roam around down there?
How did you get your farm? How did you get your 100 acres? How did you get the pole yard? It was ours. But nobody takes the time to stop and think what happened before we got here. So being educated on what happened would be helpful, and not just having these walls up saying this is our land, this is our city.
If people don't show up at community meetings, And, we do require that you have them, because when the community doesn't feel like they've been involved, there can be a lot of potential for backlash and not support of the redevelopment that's going to happen. It's hard to get time off work, and a lot of times when we have these public meetings are when the community members need to be working. So by allowing participant support costs and meals to be provided and childcare, that can really help getting underserved communities to show up for community meetings.
We had 2 packed conference rooms of people for the 2 meetings that we had, as well as a booth set up at the Plummer Community Days, and the community response at that event was wonderful. I think it's been neat to see a lot of new faces at some of these meetings. There's new community members, there's longtime community members who've not really been involved with these kind of processes before, and that's been really exciting to see.
We just wanted to make sure it was open to everybody. We wanted to make sure that they understood we were trying to get input from the whole entire community, which definitely includes the Coeur d'Alene tribe and its members. We wanted to make sure a tribal council had their input, and also tribal department. The visioning workshop was held at the Coeur d'Alene Tribal Wellness Center. So we wanted to make sure that our community knew it was open to everyone.
There are 3 alternatives for reuse for the pole yard site, as demonstrated on those presentation boards. I'll walk through a little bit of it here. But really, again, everything tonight is about this questionnaire to get your thoughts, your opinions on what you like, what you don't like about these 3 options. And you can
If you and your community have a brownfield in your area that you think has potential for something great, but has not yet had a conversation to determine what that great potential is, a vision to action is a fantastic way to bring that conversation about. When working with the community in our 2 workshops, the big things that came out that were most important to them were they wanted to see a reuse that could engage the community at large with public amenities. What they wanted to see as a reuse was natural open space, active recreation, a space for young people, for old people, for those who are looking to start or learn a business. Simply put, this vision to action plan, especially with the way it's been developed with the community, puts Plummer in a very competitive place for all the grants that they will seek in the future.
I think everyone involved, the tribe, the city, we're looking to make improvements to that area, make it an area that's useful for everybody. And we found a lot of different ideas for this property, and hopefully we'll be able to act on it.
If we can make movement on a couple of those things in the next several years, I think it can be a real opportunity to revitalize the community and hopefully lead to multiple benefits. It certainly has sparked a lot of passion and ideas for what the community could look like over the next decade.